Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's ChrisXradio.
ChrisXradio. What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire intellect.
And now, your host.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
Gary should have keep him in suspense, make him think I'm still gone. I don't know how to do this. It's been so long, but it sure went fast. Good afternoon and welcome to Chris X Radio, the first live Chris X Radio of the new year with Chris X. We had, of course, Stu with the View filled in once or twice last week.
Thank you for that.
He filled in, did a great job as he always does. So I always appreciate when Ben fills in. I enjoy it because I get to listen to about half the show. And then, of course, I heard some of the fun stuff he was doing. But I actually enjoy when Ben fills in. Nonetheless, we are now back here on your Insurrection Day, January the 6th. It's going to take me a while to get used to writing 2025. By the time I get used to that, it'll be 2026. But nonetheless, we're back. Did you guys miss us? I mean, I know I got emails and messages saying you missed us, but I don't know if you guys were just messing with me or if you actually missed the show. But nonetheless, we are back here on your happy Insurrection Day, you bunch of insurrectionists. Well, it didn't go like it did 4 years ago. What a difference 4 years makes. Everything went smooth and no big issues, and we have a new president certified. Now, he'll be sworn in coming up here on the 20th, so let's hope everything goes smooth there. It's cold outside, by the way. For those of you who, I think this is the coldest it's been since last year, and I'm not talking about 6 days ago, okay? I'm talking about it's been a relatively mild winter. But yeah, we actually got some cold temperatures last night. Got down to 29 in my neck of the woods, and it was there for a few hours. But it's warmed up. I think it was up in the 40s. Let's see. Let me go look. They had that little thing where it comes up on your computer, and you can just go look at it, and I took that off. Because I got tired of looking at it. Oh, yeah, it's up to like 44 degrees. Supposed to be a high of 45 today, but it feels like 39 because, well, all the wind. Oh, that wind was cold. But nonetheless, it's going to be cool this entire week. I don't know, but I think tonight it's supposed to get down to 29 again, maybe. Somewhere below freezing, but it won't stay there long, which is good. But you got to be prepared. Make sure that you, have your pets and what are the 3 Ps? Pets, pipes, and performers like Gary, our producer. He's a performer. I was calling him Harry what's that, Gary?
Prices.
Oh, okay. So we want prices, pipes. But why are our prices protected?
That's that commercial. Yeah, I'm stuck on it. The 3
okay.
Ps.
Oh, there we go. I think it's pets, pipes, and people.
People.
People make sense. So there you go. Anyway, you want to take care of that. They're saying, I was looking at the news earlier, that it looks like they think one person died from the cold weather, but it was a person at a bus stop, probably a homeless person. Somebody out in that cold, don't stay out in the cold. If you can get out of it, get out of it. And there are a lot of ways to do that. I mean, we live in a very generous and forgiving city, despite all of its flaws. And apparently our new Harris County District Attorney, who can't even legally practice law in Texas, apparently, They're saying his license has been expired, suspended, I don't know, since last April or something like that. We're talking about Sean Tier. Yeah. But once again, it's Democrats. Who cares? Laws don't mean anything to them. They're not interested. But nonetheless, it's cold out the entire week, so take precautions. I went back. One of the things I did was rewrapped my pipes. I haven't done it in about 6 years. So I saw that some of I didn't do a great job the first time. Turns out I did on some of the, the faucets outside or the spigots or whatever. So I did on some of them, but on my sprinkler system, I did a pretty lousy job because it was all coming apart. And I remember when I went and bought the, the little foam stuff you put around it, that I had plenty extra. Probably still have enough for another replacement here in the next 6 years or however long it lasts. But I went and did that, rewrapped the stuff that was coming apart. So I did that, got it ready. Always, you have to worry about, I can never remember what it's called, but my sprinkler guy who handles it, he knows. I was going to give him a shout out. I know it's from the, I don't have his card in front of me. I have to go look it up. It's the yards guys, can't remember the name of the company, but he does a fantastic, Patrick is his name. And man, that dude knows sprinklers inside and out. And he's the one that literally rebuilt my sprinkler system from the ground up, because when I bought the home, everything was messed up on the sprinkler system. And the guy who did my, I don't want to dog him, but the guy who did my inspection when I bought the home, he missed the lousy parts of the roof that I had to replace. Cost me a ton of money, and then eventually, after 3 different leaks I had to have replaced, I ended up replacing the entire roof. Should have just done that in the first place, saved myself about $4 or $5,000. So there's that. The garage door opener, the garage door, the breaker, the full whole house breaker, whatever the main is, arcing. They could have destroyed everything I had inside. I had to get that done. Well, unfortunately, my brother took care of that because he knows what he's doing. Let's see, what else? It just goes on and on. I had to replace the door, the garage door itself. All of these things, and I'm like, how did he miss these? That's his job. But nonetheless, other than that, the house has been great. We'll see if I'll be able to afford to live here after our taxes go up, because I'm in Harris County, and Harris County can't get enough of our tax dollars. So that's great. They're going to keep taxing it. I'm already starting to look into homes out in the country. I want to move to a Republican-run county, because that's always better, and then get somewhere probably out of the unincorporated area. But the 2 requirements for me to move to another area is to get out of Harris County, and then, of course, get a smaller home. I've got 4 bedrooms, basically. I don't need all that. One, of course, is Studio X, so it's 3 bedrooms, I guess, technically. Why am I going to pay taxes when they keep doing what they're doing? And I don't trust. Listen, I know the Republicans are working hard. They're taking back, seats here and there. I just don't know if they can beat that cheating machine in Harris County. What was it? Okay, first of all, did you see that Ann Harris Bennett hadn't been in the office in something like 53 days or whatever it was? And then we found out Kay Granger has been living in a mental health treatment facility for dementia for like 6 months. So there's that, and nobody knew anything. Now she's on the other side of the aisle, but nonetheless, I'm just, okay. And we'll wait and see what happens on the Texas House with the speaker situation. We'll see how that plays out. The National House, that's right, House of Representatives, Mike Johnson has successfully retained his speakership after an endorsement from Donald Trump. So it was funny. I had people just blowing up on me. How dare you? Can you support Mike Johnson? You are the worst person in the world. Don't you understand? He is the worst speaker ever and the worst thing we've ever had. And he's the worst. And I went, okay, so you don't support Trump? Huh? I support Trump. Oh, yeah, well, he gave Mike Johnson his complete endorsement. it's just funny, the disconnect. Politics is so tribal. But nonetheless, after he got Trump's endorsement, they were able to get it done on the first go-round, the first vote this time, which was good. Do I love Mike Johnson? No. Has he been great? No. He hasn't had anything to work with, to be honest with you. We don't have enough of a majority in the House. We still don't. But people have forgotten, up until today, I think, it's still the same Congress that it was for the last 4 years until they were sworn in the new one, and it doesn't really change much other than the fact it's different for the Senate and the presidency, which should give him a far better mandate. But that being said, they've got barely a majority, and there's roughly 30-plus Republicans that want to go against anything that he does. So people don't understand that. I was listening to Ben Strusan break it down a little bit the other day, and I thought he gave a very fair assessment of the speakership. It's a tough job. Mike Johnson was in a position to where he literally could not win. He didn't have enough support from the Republican Party, so he would have to reach out to Democrats to try to get something through. There is no playing with Democrats. They don't play well. They do not care. They screw you every time. They will stab you in the back. And the moment they know they got you over a barrel, which they had him over a barrel, they weren't going to do anything that they didn't like. Now, there were some things that got done, but they're going to fight like hell not to. Republicans need to learn to play a little better, not to be like Democrats, but to be smarter. Now, that abomination that Johnson put up right there at the end of the year was trash, and I'm glad he got vilified for it. He deserved it. So for him to go through now, we'll see what happens. But I would like to see Republicans fighting Democrats instead of Republicans fighting Republicans. And now we don't have, Matt Gaetz is out of there, so he's gone. And then, of course, they went in and they certified the election. So it's certification day. Trump is now certified as the next Kamala Harris, the first. I don't know what to call her. Is she Afro-Indian? Would that be fair? Because they called her African-American. She's not African-American. She's half Indian and she's half, Jamaican. So Jamindian, as I think that's what Jimmy X calls her. She's the first woman of color to certify her own laws for presidency. So I'll give her credit. She did it the way she's pretty much supposed to. That's the best I've heard her sound in 2 years. So they did it. Trump's in. He's the guy. So what happened while we were gone? Did I miss anything? Oh, let's run down just a smidgen of what has happened. Okay, mention Mike Johnson maintaining his speakership. Okay, boom, got that. We had a New Year's terror attack. It was at 3 a.m. in the morning on New Year's Day, actually. They keep saying New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve night going into New Year's Day. This dude, soldier, so was it Fort Hood he served at? Whatever. Apparently was out scouting the location, last year. Doing this, and then decided at 3:15 in the morning to go run down a bunch of people, kill 14 people, got out of the truck, started shooting a gun before the cops killed him. But this dude was a former soldier radicalized by ISIS. I thought white supremacy was the problem here. And then you've got the Biden hole still trying to convince everyone that white supremacy is the problem. Then you got some dude that served at also at Fort Hood who was not radicalized by ISIS. Apparently had PTSD, they said. He was a former analyst or whatever, and he took a Cybertruck, drove it clear across the country. Oh, sorry. Before I get to him, forgot to mention that the terror attacker in New Orleans was a dude who lives here in Houston. And somehow the next day, reporters were in his house, reporting live from his house. The problem with our government is they're filled with so many dirtbags you don't trust anything. And I'm just like, what? I'm surprised that they didn't take the guy and incinerate his body and cremate him before anyone got a chance to question anything like they did with the first dude who tried to assassinate President Trump in Pennsylvania. And then a dude, by the way, a whole lot of presidential medals of freedom were given out, including one dude that had his picture taken with the second guy that wanted to assassinate Trump. Oh, but we'll get into that. Anyway, okay, so the New Year's terror attack has a Houston connection, the one in New Orleans. terrible, terrible situation. God bless these people and their families. 14 of them died. I don't remember how many were injured. But then some other dude, not from Texas or from Houston, served in Fort Hood. He drove a Cybertruck filled with fireworks and explosives, apparently all the way across the country. I saw the list of how many times he had to stop. No wonder he killed himself to recharge that truck. But he pulled up in front of Trump Tower on New Year's Day and blew up his truck. Now, there was a Cybertruck, so it was funny because everybody was, that's not funny. It's a terrible thing. But what was funny was everyone was trying to say, oh, my God, look how dangerous the Cybertrucks are. Turns out the Cybertruck is so well constructed that it most likely maintained a lot of those fireworks. They went up instead of out to the side, and the fireworks and the explosives. So it actually probably protected more people because I think 14 of them were injured, no one killed, other than the driver of the truck. And this is where it gets really weird. That guy also served at Fort Hood. He was not an ISIS dude. They say he had PTSD. He somehow emailed his manifesto, so they're calling it, how he was disenfranchised or whatever, and was talking about all these different things, covering up a terrible situation in the military where innocent people were killed. He was part of that. And then he said these drones are Chinese that are flying around, and they've got anti-gravity machines in them or whatever. They're that's what they're flying on. Anti-gravity, and he says they're the biggest threat we face. What? So also, okay, that's just a couple of things. We also got Biden, who pardoned and commuted damn near everybody on death row. And he, including his son, and then his son for crimes committed or not committed, or people that were involved with him. And he pardoned himself, basically. And then he awarded a bunch of radical leftists the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, there were some people who deserved the medal, like Michael J. Fox got it. Okay. What that guy's been doing for Parkinson's and other stuff, okay, I can see him getting it. Bono seems like a pretty good dude. He got one. But then he awarded one to Hillary Clinton and George Soros and a bunch of other leftist activists that have tried to keep Democrats winning. So there you go. I'm like, okay, well, anyone surprised by a criminal doing that? Because that's what Joe Biden is. He's a criminal. And then, as I mentioned briefly, apparently the new Harris County District Attorney just sworn in. I've seen Alexandra Del Moral Mealer, whatever her name is, her tweeting about it, other people tweeting about it. They've somehow gotten a copy of his law license, which he has not been legally allowed to practice law since, like, April? Huh? It expired or something. He didn't pay the fees, or I don't know what he did. I have no idea. But the new Harris County District Attorney cannot legally practice law. I think that's illegal in the state of Texas. So he's going to have to get that fixed, or they're going to, I don't know. I just know that, boy, strategic how that came out after he was sworn in. Anyway, but we're way over. I haven't even got to what I want to talk about today. All right, I don't have any guests either, so if you want to join us, I was going to ask everybody if you have New Year's resolutions. I do. I make the same ones every year. Some of them. But I've also got some that I'm actually so far here on day 6, I'm going strong. We'll see if I can make it to day 7. 281-558-KSEV. 281-558-5738. It is January the 6th. Happy Insurrection Day. Donald Trump has been certified as the 47th President of the United States of America. He'll be sworn in on January 20th. So we got another 14 days of the Biden hole. And Joe Biden seems to be trying to burn it down as quickly as he can. All right, 281-558-KSEV. When we come back, I'll actually talk about what I want to talk about. We'll get into that. Don't you go anywhere. Chris X is back and live here in 2025.
The revolution continues after this. ChrisX Radio.
Never happen at a convenient time. Nix Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nix Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nixplumbing.com.
NPL 38548.
Is it time to sell your house? Well, then hire a real estate team that will sell your house quickly and for top dollar. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. The team concept starts with experience, a drive and passion from Ronnie and Kathy Matthews, the founders. They built their team with specialists from every aspect of the real estate transaction, from the buyer's agent to the contract administrator to the marketing specialist. This team is working full-time to get your home sold and every detail handled professionally. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or on the web, visit thematthewsteam.com. Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, your realtor for life. Call now for a free home evaluation, 281-440-7900. That's 281-440-7900. Or see for yourself and go online at thematthewsteam.com. I chose them as my realtor, and you'll be happy if you do as well. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or thematthewsteam.com.
That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, brokered by EXP.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. 800-951-6756. 800-951-6756. That's 800-951-6756. Paid for by Airtime Media.
And now, back to ChrisX Radio. ChrisX Radio on the voice of Texas.
Hey, Gary, did you like that? My tagline I came up with, ChrisX Live in 2025. Did you like that? I'm a marketing genius. Or a poet, and I didn't even know it. One of the two. That's what happens when you don't prepare for a show. You just come up with it on the spot. Okay, actually, I did prepare for a show, and that's the point I was making earlier. That everything I just talked about, okay, I did mention some of it, but I didn't go into it like I wanted to. All right, welcome back to ChrisX Radio. We are live here in 2025. That's right, first day back. Happy Insurrection Day to all of you, what do we call them, insurrectionists? I don't know. I was looking some stuff up over the weekend. I'll get into that a little later. About a lot of people are still wanting those blanket pardons for the Gen 6ers. I don't want blanket pardons for anyone. I think that does a disservice to justice. But going through and looking at these cases, and people who didn't do anything should be absolutely pardoned. People who committed very minor offenses like trespassing and walking around taking pictures who did no damage, those people should not be in jail ever, should have their either be pardoned or have their sentences commuted. But guys like John Earl Sullivan, you guys remember him? The Insurgents USA Black Lives Matter dude that was disguised in Trump gear, along with a whole lot of other people that were disguised in Trump gear. I don't want them pardoned. I want them held to the fullest extent of the law if they did anything wrong. And from what I learned yesterday, that guy's in jail. Or at least he was sentenced to jail, which is in their case probably a club vet. He was the one that got bailed out the night of. And but about Ashley Babbitt. One, you saw the video because of him. He was embedded with a CNN reporter pretending to be a Trump supporter while screaming, "Let's burn this bleep down," while instigating rioters to do terrible things to our Capitol. So I kind of want the book thrown at that guy. That's just me. Also, I want the book thrown at the guy who's been brought up on no charges is that other dude, Ray Epps. That guy. Man, Ray Hill, he passed away a few years ago. And he was one of wasn't he the prison show guy? Ray Epps, the guy who was telling we got to go into the Capitol, he was rallying his troops, if you will, to get them to go in and break the law. So is that considered organized crime? I don't know what you'd call that. But those kind of guys, no, I kind of want them held. Anybody who took a flagpole or anything and assaulted a police officer, yep, I want you prosecuted as well. Anyone who did damage, should the punishment fit the crime? Yes. Any damage you did, busting windows or destroying things. But instead they took grandmas who took selfies and threw them in jail. And they took that poor QAnon shaman guy, Jacob Jansley, and allowed that dude, the cops told him, Capitol Police, you can walk around all you want, just don't do any damage or assault anyone. He didn't, and they threw that dude in jail for 2 years. He did nothing except painted himself up, looked weird, and had 12 photographers following him around the Capitol. They tried to convince us, and they still are, the Democrats, that dude damn near became the new leader of New America. He was going to take over the country, him and his fake spear. Amazing. Okay, I should probably get back into what I mentioned I was going to talk about. All right, so Congress did certify Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States of America without objection earlier today. In fact, it was very peaceful. Nobody objected. It went very well. There's a bunch of applause. It was positive. Even Kamala Harris, she did her part. Everything went just fine. Now, I had a feeling it was going to, because that way the Democrats can pretend like they don't protest elections, even though they have protested every election they have lost until this one for the last, 30 years in our country? 40, maybe 50 now? Which, here's another thing, too. Did you know, 1985 was 40 years ago now? Does that make you feel old? It does me. What really makes me feel old is 1995 was 30 years ago. That doesn't make any sense to me. The 90s music is still new to me. And apparently all music is new to Ben Strusand. I heard him giving poor Gary a hard time filling in last week. Everything Gary picked, nothing was good enough. Man, I thought I was bad with my music selection. Sheesh. Stru, the view is tough. But he does a good job. So, like I said, I guess he's earned it. I don't know. So we got that. The FBI has released new details about 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar. I don't know if he's related to a former basketball player named Jabbar. Anyway, that's the man authorities say carried out the deadly New Year's terrorist attack in New Orleans, including the movements in and out of the country. He was traveling to other countries. He went to New Orleans before, was wearing they're called, what are they, the Meta glasses? Which the glasses that records everything? That was weird. So we'll get into that a little bit. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has responded to the mounting criticism about how unsafe and how violent the New York City subway has gotten, saying the recent surge in crimes on the transit system cannot continue. Okay, they're ready to do something about it. She touted her deployment of 1,000 National Guard members that really didn't fix anything. But there were terrible things that happened over the holidays. I'm sure you've probably seen at least 1, 2, or 3 of them. Man, in late December, that Guatemalan illegal who was arrested and charged after he set a woman on fire while she slept on the train and burned her alive. Terrible. The video that came out, oh my God, it was horrible. Apparently she was sometimes a homeless woman. All of the news, every one of the news networks got it wrong. They all came out with some other girl and put it on the news. They all got it wrong. It was another woman who had lived it somewhere else and was sometimes homeless, but I think she was staying in a certain place or whatever. But this illegal from Guatemala decided it would be fun, I guess, to watch a woman burn alive. He burned her alive, and then he was fanning the flames. It's horrible. Once again, as people were running around trying to figure out what to do, this woman was standing there burning to death. And she did. She died. On New Year's Eve, another attacker allegedly shoved an unwitting man who was just standing there on a subway platform right in front of an oncoming train, which left him in critical condition, but he survived. And then on the first day of 2025, an elderly woman was reportedly accosted by 4 young would-be muggers. But fortunately, she fought them all off. And there looks like there were 10 girls. Teen girls. Not 10. I think there's only 4, 5, 6 of them. But that's New York, where they prevent you from being able to defend yourself with firearms, so they allow these criminals to run amok. And now the Democrats are coming in to save you once again. You would think they would have figured out this whole saving thing sometime in the last 50, 60, 70 years, but they haven't. The Democrats, whenever they take over an area, they become cesspools of crime, corruption, and then they keep telling you how they're going to make it all better, but they never do. They make it worse. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau Castro announced today that he intends to resign as the party leader and prime minister after pressure from within his own very liberal party has grown among criticism over his handling of the economy. And then, of course, President Trump just was hammering him, calling him the governor of the state of Canada, saying we're going to annex Canada and he could be the governor of that state. He just hammered Trudeau and said, we're going to stop giving you says that basically Canada has been extorting $100 billion out of America, and he's not going to allow it anymore when he takes over. So I guess the little soy totalitarian is resigning in disgrace. He said he can't fight internal battles, and he cannot be the best option for the election, so he's out. Maybe they'll finally get a leader that isn't a total dirtbag. What do you think? After what that little dirtbag did during COVID, and also he is clearly Fidel Castro's kid. I know they claim he's Pierre Trudeau's kid, but he's not. That is my favorite internet conspiracy theory that has to be true. Look at him. I want him to take a DNA test. His parents apparently were swingers who spent a lot of time with Fidel Castro down in Cuba, and then you've got this little soy totalitarian that looks just like Fidel Castro. Oh, go look at the pictures. He does not look like Pierre Trudeau at all. Not one bit. So how that worked out, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure his real last name should be Castro. And then he ruled like a little totalitarian. But he's a much more articulate Canadian totalitarian. We shall fine people and freeze their bank accounts and trucks. If you don't do what we say, we will lock you in your homes. We will not allow people to... You don't have freedom of speech in Canada. No, you don't. Not in Canada. They're going to be like this. They seem so nice, but they got a totalitarian running it. Maybe they'll get somebody that'll be a little better this time. I can't believe Canadians did this, but this is what happens when you screw up. I'm thinking, I can't believe we got Joe Biden for 4 years. Or the people behind Joe Biden running things, pretending it was Joe Biden, whatever. All right, 281-558-KSEV. I've laid them out. We'll start going into them now when we come back from the break. You're listening to Chris X Radio. We are live here in 2025. So, here on January 6th, Gary is patiently waiting your phone calls. If you want to weigh in on any of this, even Pierre Castro. I'm sorry, it's Justin. I always accidentally refer to him to Pierre Trudeau because that was supposedly his dad. But it's Justin Trudeau, who is the soon-to-be former Canadian Prime Minister. I know everybody I know from Canada, they hate that guy. I mean, they hate him worse than Americans hate Joe Biden. That's pretty bad. 281-558-KSEV. I'm Chris X. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere.
Call Chris X Radio now. 281-558-KSEV. 281-558-KSEV.
Chris X here for Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative Christian wireless company. A lot of people start making their New Year's resolutions. This is a good time to do so. One of those resolutions, maybe this year, one that you don't want to break, should be to support companies that actually share your values and your principles. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar they earn to organizations that actually fight for the causes you care about. Last year, Patriot Mobile donated over $2.3 million to Christian and conservative causes. This year, they're going to donate more. Patriot Mobile offers you an alternative to those woke companies that don't like us. Then they take our money and use it to support causes that take away our rights and our freedoms. Patriot Mobile has exceptional coverage on all of the nation's best 4 and 5G networks. They even use the same towers as the main carriers, but they have plans that'll fit any budget. That includes multi-line users, and they charge about half of what all of the big woke mobile companies are charging. Ask about the Patriot Mobile One service, where you can get access to all 3 networks on a single device, so you'll have the most reliable coverage anytime, anywhere. Now, when you switch to Patriot Mobile, you take away your support for the leftist progressive agendas of woke mobile, and you add it to the conservative Christian causes of Patriot Mobile. They're a great company that's actually in line with your values and your principles. What a concept, huh? Let's support companies that support us. They also offer great discounts to our veterans and first responders, so they actually want to help take care of those who take care of us. Another good concept. Switching is easy. Everybody's worried about switching. Is actually really simple. You can do it online at patriotmobile.com/KSEV. patriotmobile.com/KSEV. Or if you want to, you can call them on their U.S.-based customer service line right here in America. Talk to an American. What a concept. 97.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate. The country and the world are changing for the good. If you're watching the mainstream media, that's not the message you're getting. They've been brainwashing you for years. Dig into the real news and wake up. You were born free and freedom was given to you by God. The word government is derived from the Greek words meaning to steer a rudder. That should tell you something. God put us here to love one another no matter what race, religion, or ethnic group. And I'll admit sometimes I have a problem doing this, but I'm working on it. If you need a real estate company, call O'Hara & Company Real Estate at 281-373-3393 or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. Also, if you're looking for a home builder, remodeling, patio cover, any type of construction projects, give O'Hara Homes a call at 281-373-3393. And here's my grandson.
This is Keita Martinez. God bless America and God bless Texas. One more thing. God bless my pawpaw.
Be a Planner Show host Nathan Ross wants to remind you, please consider all the syndication terms of your private real estate partnership. By understanding the syndication math, Nathan can help you assess the benefits of ownership. Visit beaplanner.com or tune in each Friday mornings at 11 and Sunday at 7 a.m. for the Be a Planner Show with Nathan Ross, CPA, on KSEV.
The voice of Texas, the voice of reason, ChrisXradio.
Drop out there. Did I tell you they're coming after us? Nah, I think it could be the weather related. Something dropped us out, bumped me off the air real quick. Anyway, we're back. Welcome back to Chris X Radio. I'll finish telling you about Patriot Mobile very quickly, and then we'll get back into it. I was just telling you how to get in touch with Patriot Mobile. So if you want to get in touch with them, I encourage you to support companies that actually support our values. So that's what I do. Any chance I get, I am supporting companies that support us now. So if you want to switch over your cell phone service, if you're tired of spending way too much money with Woke Mobile, you don't have to. You can switch today, and it's easy. You can do it online, patriotmobile.com/KSEV. That's patriotmobile.com/KSEV. Or call their U.S.-based customer service line. Talk to Americans here in America at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. Use offer code KSEV, and you get free activation, and then you save even more money. All right, so there you go. patriotmobile.com/KSEV, or call them directly at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT, and they'll get you taken care of. So that way you actually support a company where you can get better service for less money, and the company actually supports you and your values. Wow, what a concept here in today's environment. All right, welcome back to Chris X Radio here live in 2025. That may be my new mantra this year. We are live in 2025. Okay, so I know I was just a poet and I didn't even know it, but it kind of works out, so we'll take it. And we're back after being off. It ended up being, I was out for 2 full weeks. I don't think I've done that in a while. So it's so funny because, by the way, coming up here in the next a few weeks, probably, I'll try to do it sparingly. I never take all my days off. I don't know how often you guys listen, but I'm generally here other than a few holidays. And then at the end of the year is kind of a slow time for us. So I'm able to actually take time off. And Ben is always so gracious. Ben Struzan gets to fill in. So thank God he does that and I always appreciate it. So I took just a few days, but combined with the holidays, I only took a few days off. I got a bunch. I never take all my vacation days. One, because I love what I do. So there's that. I don't like to take a bunch of days off. Two, it just doesn't work out that way. So what I always do is into the new year, well, I started doing it last year or the year before, I'll take like a Thursday off. So I'll do 2 or 3 of those and then kind of, wrap up some of my days. It's still not all of them, but it gives me a few extra days off, and I'll take those to go up to the hill country, which I did a couple weeks ago, right when we took off. I headed up early and had a good time up there. That was fun. But I was a little under the weather, and I don't know if it was it was so weird. The night before I left, I didn't get any sleep. It was one of those deals where I fell asleep on the couch for like 2 hours, and then I woke up, tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't. So then when I went up the next day, I had no sleep, and then I go up there, and I never sleep good up there. So I didn't get any sleep for a couple of days while I was up there. And then when I was coming home, I was dozing off. It was rough. But also while I was up there, I felt oftentimes the allergies, and then I learned it was cedar fever time. Cedar trees were popping. So that must have been what killed me because it made me feel like I was dying. So fortunately, I didn't die. So that's a good thing. And then second of all, once I get back, I'm like, oh, I got some sleep. And I think it took me all 2 weeks to get caught up on my sleep. Because then I came back and I immediately crashed on the couch and then all that. But anyway, I'm back, and so I was just giving you a heads up. And we are live, so 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Glad to be back, and a whole lot was going on. One of the things I always try to do whenever I take time off is check out of the news for a bit because, as you guys know, I'm a news junkie, and all I do is read. I read news and information all the time. That's all I do. And I consume it because that's what I cover, and that's generally how I, know what to talk about here on the program, of course, but also that way I don't get blindsided. Now, no one can cover everything, so that's not going to happen. But as far as much as we can cover, then I try to do that. Well, for the first probably 4 or 5 days I was off, I very seldom checked in, even to social media or any of that. And then there was so much going on with of course, the Mike Johnson situation. He was able to maintain his speakership with the endorsement of Donald Trump. And then there was there was 2 weird things that happened. At 3:15 a.m. in the morning on New Year's Day, the terrorist attack from a dude from Houston in New Orleans, where his truck and he ran over and ended up killing 14 people, wounding a whole lot more. And then there was the dude who blew up the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower on the same day, which claimed he wasn't. I'm still not sure what that was. But that, and then you had Biden pardoning and commuting everybody, giving a bunch of leftist radicals the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I think he gave them to Hillary Clinton and then George Soros and some other dirtbag lefties. But then I think it was Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine. I think he gave one to Norman Bates. Let's see, it's ridiculous. All right, so very quickly, and then we got to take a break, and then we'll come back and go to the phones. Hold on for me, Louie. Oh, have you, did you make any New Year's resolutions? Have you made any for this year? I actually have. I figured out a glitch in the Matrix years ago, because I'm just an idiot. My New Year's resolutions were things that I've either never done or things that I would never do. One, I don't drink. So every New Year's, I'm like, I'm not going to drink this year. So I don't, because I don't drink. I'm not going to do drugs. So I don't. Never done drugs. So there's that. So I always kind of do those sort of things. Well, this year I actually had a New Year's resolution. I haven't, but since I quit playing baseball a couple years ago, I have not been getting very much exercise, except for when I go up to the hill country and go do stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start exercising more, getting out and doing more, because I used to be a lot more active, and I've been very sedentary. So I'm actually going to do that, and I have been doing it, getting out walking and hiking and doing different things here since the first of the year. So far, 6 days in, I'm going strong. We'll see where I am by next week. But no, I have to do that. I mean, if I don't, like I said, I'm already, a little heavier than I've ever been, I'm sure, at this point. But I already feel better. Just, 6 days of getting out and doing things. All right, let's take another break. We'll come back. We got Louie on the line. If you want to join us, do you have any New Year's resolutions? 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Oh, by the way, I'm all thrown off, even though I knew it was going to happen. Dana's show left us, and I guess Ben Shapiro's show left us as well. Now we got Guy Benson. And when I heard his promo first, I was like, which he's on the 2 hours before us now, which I'm getting used to his show. I like Guy. He's a Fox News guy, I guess. When I first heard it, I confused him with Doug Benson. Do you guys know who that is? He's a stoner comedian that has a podcast called Getting Doug with Hi Benson or something like that. So, and I was like, wait a minute, we got this guy on our station? No, it's a much more conservative guy. Which he had Dagan McDowell on, and I didn't know how conservative she was. Very. All right, 281-558-KSEV. I'm Chris X. We'll be right back.
Chris X Radio.
Hi, folks. Dan Patrick here. Beautiful and healthy trees increase your property value, but sick, ugly trees will decrease the value of your home. That's why I recommend you call Ability Tree Experts at 281-441-4179. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can replace. That's why you need to call my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts. I've known them for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. Well-fed and pruned tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Pruning is important for the health of your trees and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs. So don't wait to protect your investment. Call Louis Flory now at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, receive a deep root feeding with every tree pruned. That's Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Hi, I'm Don Valentine with John Moore Services. There's an old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So true for homes. Houston homes are simply not built for the cold. Pipes can freeze, water heaters can burst, heating systems fail, especially if they're old. Protect your home with our plumbing and heating checkup and get our famous no breakdown guarantee. Be ready for winter with John Moore. 713-730-2525.
Hi, this is Michael Miller. Join me this weekend for the Backyard Bay radio program, now at our new time, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., right here on AM 700 KSEV, The Voice.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our better blue pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our better blue pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the better blue pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Chris X Radio.
I think this is the best version of that song. It's a great version, which, by the way, is a great song, Staying Alive, Bee Gees, which, by the way, you might know what the Bee Gees stands for. Barry Gibb. Is he the only one left alive? I think he is. He talented. Oh, by the way, thanks to Don out in Point Blank. It was, and thank you for the welcome back wishes. Pets, pipes, and plants. I was way off. I said people. I don't know. I think people are more important than plants, but if you don't have enough plants, I guess we don't have people. So, yeah, got to take care of the plants. It's one thing I don't really do. All right, welcome back to Chris X Radio. All right, Louis dropped. So, Louis, if you want to get back in, you better hurry because we're very short here on time. Oh, Greg in Tomball called in and mentioned Roger Klein. Roger Klein and Peacemakers is coming to the Woodlands on February 12th at the Do-Si-Do, the Big Barn. I don't think I've been to Do-Si-Do's, the Big Barn, but I know Roger Klein and the Peacemakers is very talented. Roger Klein, formerly of the Refreshments. They did the song Banditos, a great song that starts off with vocals. Well, just how far down do you want to go, and we can talk it out over a cup of joe. I haven't played that song in a long time. We used to play that live. You can look deep into my eyes like I was a supermodel. It's a great song. And from what I'm told, they usually play that live. So it's Roger Klein and the Peacemakers over the Do-Si-Do, the Big Barn, Wednesday, February 12th. Before that, they're going to Flagstaff, Arizona, which is that's a cool little city. Puerto Peñasco in Mexico. They're playing in Mexico. Okay, January 16th. Then they're playing Plano, Waco, New Braunfels, Cedar Park. Man, they play all over Texas. Cedar Park's up there, north of Austin, at the Hot Spot, Haute, Hot. So thanks for that. I appreciate it, Greg, giving the update on Roger Klein. If I get time, that's a Wednesday. I don't know what time the show is. The one in, maybe I'll just drive up on Tuesday, the 11th. Standard Hat Works says RCPH free show. What does that mean? I don't know what RCPH. Anyway, that's kind of cool. Roger Klein and the Peacemakers. And it's Roger Klein, C-L-Y-N-E. Spelled a little differently than you expected. But very talented. The Refreshments, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they do the theme song to, no, it was, maybe it was King of the Hill. It was one of the cartoons, wasn't it? But it was, I remember Primus did one. I can't remember. I'm going to have to look that up. Man. All right, let's go and take a break. All right, we got Scott out in Belleville. Scott, hold on. Hey, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Belleville is the home of Trump Burger. So if you want to celebrate Donald Trump, who was, well, he was confirmed today with the electoral confirmation process as the 47th president of the United States. He will be inaugurated on January 20th. He'll be sworn in. Boy, he can't get here soon enough, right? I hate wishing days away, but I'm ready for the Trumpocalypse Part 2. Hour number 2 is up next. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.